What if we could take pictures in the dark? Hello everyone, welcome back to Knab Camera Co. My name is Matt, and today we're going to be looking at CineStill 800T and how it does in the dark. Before we get into that, I would like you to know I had every intention of making this video on the Kodak infrared film, but unfortunately I didn't get too lucky with those rolls. I shot both the black and white and Ektachrome infrared rolls, but the black and white infrared was horribly underexposed, and as you can see, the Ektachrome infrared, the emulsion just kind of washed off. So, yeah. We'll try those again another day. But I wanted to shoot something, and it's been a minute since I've spent an evening with CineStill and their tungsten titan of a film stock, the 800T. If you don't know about CineStill and what they do, they repurpose motion picture film so that it can be shot in stills cameras and developed in C41 chemistry. See, most cinema films need ECN2 processing, and this involves a remjet layer or an anti-halation layer. The 800T does not have that layer, and as a side effect you get these cool little light blooms or halos around certain highlights in your image. This is caused by light physically bouncing off the back of the camera and re-exposing the film, causing this bloom. It's kinda neat, and I dig the effect. I know it's technically an imperfection, but come on. So 800T is one of my favorite films for nighttime photography and long exposures. It's 800 ISO, which means we can shoot a little bit faster at lower apertures. So for this outing, I decided to take the ever heavy and ever amazing Mamiya RZ67. This might be the first medium format camera I really fell in love with. From its quirky plastic design, rounded corners, and total modularity, there's so much to love about this camera, aside from its weight. There's a reason these are much more affordable than the Mamiya 7. The main difference is that the RZ67 weighs about 50,000 pounds. I decided to use this 65mm f4 lens. Really love the 110-2.8, but I'm kind of sick of that normal focal length, and I feel like that's the only lens I've really ever used with this camera. So the 65 is going to be a nice alternative that's just a little bit wider. What's cool about this 65mm lens is that it has this floating element up front, so you can really dial in the focus if you want to. Now if you're gonna shoot long exposure photography, you're going to need these few pieces of equipment. The first and most important tool is a tripod. One that is sturdy, one that you can rely on, one that can hold a really heavy camera. Like, if you're taking this guy out, you're gonna need something that's pretty sturdy. Admittedly, this one isn't probably the best, but it gets the job done. You don't need to break the bank, but you do need to consider things like ergonomics. A ball head is nice, but you don't want your camera flailing all over the place while you're trying to recompose your frame. The second thing you'll need is a light meter. Now don't be intimidated by people online saying you need a Seikonic like this one, or any other several $100 light meter. All these photos that you're seeing here were metered with a $4 iPhone app. That's right, even though I have this fancy meter, a cheap app did just fine. There's also the option of these little shoe-mounted ones. This little Kex guy is amazing. Of course, there's always the benefit of having this kind of dedicated meter where it can do spot and incident metering. It can be a lot more accurate, but it's not always necessary. The third most important thing you'll need is a shutter release cable. These are essential for any photographer to have in their bag at all times. If you're shooting film, a threaded cable release like this will work just fine. Most digital cameras have a proprietary cable release you can use, or you can even just use your smartphone for a lot of modern cameras. I like this cable here because it has the little toggle modes you can do that basically imitate the B and T settings on your camera. So you can either hold it down for as long as you want the shutter open, or you can press it and then release it for when you want to close the shutter. So these are the essential items you should have if you want to do any sort of long exposure photography. There are definitely essential items. So with all that being said, let's go shoot some CineStill 800T at night. Oh, let's change that. I'm outside the camera shop now, and it's a quiet evening, and what better opportunity than to take some long exposure photos, capture some of the unique and just interesting scenery around Knab in the dark. So, let's go. one nice thing about shooting at night is you kind of have consistent light to work with. That light is gonna be on pretty much all night, I can guarantee. So since it is a constant light from this sign here, I can kind of rely on that to get an incident metering rather than a spot metering. I really want to get a shot of some of these rooms, but that just feels too creepy. I don't want to be the creepy guy with a camera. Inevitably, that's what it's going to look like, so the car will suffice. If you're familiar with the RZ system, you know that it focuses with these dials here, which is great and all, but you have this lens here that says floating system, and this allows you to focus that much more, to get that much more sharpness. Is it noticeable? Maybe. There's some horror movie stuff right here. I just saw a cat scurry across the roof. Kind of creepy. So here's a potentially interesting composition. You got the lawn chairs, you got the neon, you got the grass. I think it could be kind of neat if we could get low enough. So I'm not aiming to make masterpieces here, but I was just trying to get out there and have a little bit of fun and just do a little photographic exercise. but it's beneficial to have a little variety in your shooting and to shoot something different now and then. So if you enjoyed this video or learned something from it, please like and subscribe. We got new content coming every week, so thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one.